Singer Babe learns Ableton. Singer Babe learns how to up her game with making music. Who wants to listen to poorly produced stuff? And so that I can actually craft more of the songs that I'm writing and not just the vocals of it. And I'm taking production lessons.
All right, so this is how I completed the last one we did.
Sweet.
This is what I did. Do you see anything off the bat which might be an issue?
Now that you have things in groups, be careful to use the volume of the group to turn things down.
Like this.
So in instruments, you have it at -2.2. I would try to leave that at 0.
Okay.
You can always just turn the stuff down inside of the group. Because you have so much control over each individual clip of how loud it can be. Have you ever seen an old school mixing board that has all the channels on it? So your group is like summing into one channel. So to have one knob to turn on instead of having to go and turn down 12 channels, right? Let's open up that main vocal channel. First we have the EQ, and then we went to compressor, and then what's further down the line? You got a de-esser?
Yeah.
That's cool. You had your clip gain down to -6, right?
Ooh.
And then now you have your volume down to -6 too, which to me, looking at that waveform, that's going to be pretty low. Let's go -6 on the clip gain, but then put the volume at 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Always nice to have something to focus your mix around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this is a very vocal dominant song, then I'm going to mix everything towards that vocal. So right now your master level is also at -6.
Oh, man.
Which it should stay at 0 if possible.
Oh.
It's really nice when you start a song to have your output volume to your speakers quite loud so that you're not pushing things within your mix so that you can hear them. If you're importing any kind of loops or anything, those are usually really loud. And that's probably why you turned your master down. Even referencing Spotify or Tidal, play that through the speakers first to get it at like a volume that you like, and then turn that off and then start your track. And then you have a reference for your ears of how loud it is.
That makes sense.
I'm also looking at your compressor right now, and it seems like it's adding 6.2 dB of gain on the output.
Yeah.
So that knob right there is adding 6.2 dB of gain on your vocal.
Oh, and that's probably why I'm wanting to take it down.
Exactly. So let's turn that down.
Okay, so that should be at 0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. I would also suggest putting the de-esser before the compressor.
Okay.
I always do that because you're basically taking the S's out before you're compressing. Otherwise, you're compressing and then taking the S's out, and so that's making the S's louder.
Yeah.
So when it's hitting the compressor, it's only the frequencies that you want to hit to the compressor. So EQ, a little de-esser, and a compressor. Thousands of records have been made with only that. I think it would be also cool to show you how to EQ a little bit of those S's out, because you can't just get them with the compressor. The S's live in like the 5,000 range. Try to find a spot in your vocal that has a lot of S's. Play the sound so that I can see. And so, right, we saw that. Then we're going to change the Q knob, which is in the bottom left corner of that EQ. And we're going to bring it to about 1 o'clock. And then grab the notch and then pull that down just a little bit. So on that sound, it seems to be working. The gain is way better, so you're not super loud, because that's going to make the S's go like crazy if it's too loud.
I'll probably say it many times. This is incredibly addicting. Oh, if I could just eat and drink music, then I could go without food breaks and stuff. Just keep practicing.
So let's see what we can do to those back vocals. I like to take a little bit of the high end out of background vocals so that they're not competing with the high end of the lead vocal.
My lead is like mid-range, and and then this was the higher harmony, and this was the lower harmony.
Okay.
And I noticed that it kind of shared this space a little bit better. Kind of sent this one over to the high, and then sent this one over to the lower.
It's definitely a way for it to do that. and if it's sitting in a nice space for you. You could also, which we haven't really talked about yet, is panning.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That also really helps it put it in a space, and it keeps it out of the way of that center vocal. So do you see on the channel you have your volume and you have a little C? That means it's in the center right now. 50L is all the way to the left, 50R is all the way to the right. And that's the beauty. That's how they all interact with each other, living in their own space, because we have two ears. I also, for background vocals, to send them to a different reverb than the main vocal.
I like what you're saying. It could be parts of the song in different spaces of the room having a different reverb effect.
Exactly. That was what I really liked about mixing your voice, was like trying to find the right reverb, and also those like little reverb throws that I did. So it was living in a room, but then you'd belt a little bit more, and then I'd let it hit the back of the room a little bit more. What I really wanted to show you this time is how to automate those. That's what we can do right now. Do you see how there's little controls on the black part of the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, set. So click on that. Those are your automation lanes. So if you have those on, see how these little orange lines? You can put markers on that orange line. If you double click on it, you now made a little point, and you can bring it down below that. It's called automation. It will do that every time.
This solves the problem, because I was thinking that if I wanted these effects to be different on the same vocal track, that I had to create multiple tracks and apply those effects to individual vocal tracks. Oh my gosh.
No, so this is why you don't want to just put a reverb right on your vocal channel, because then you'd have to automate the dry wet. So leaving your reverb at the wettest possible, and then just using this automation knob to tell it how much of your vocal to send it to is going to make more reverb.
Recording in progress.
Hello?
I felt like we just missed the recording of your epiphany. So let's see if you can toggle on the automation lanes again.
Babe.
Bam.
Okay, cool.
You can basically automate anything. Any of these knobs, these compressors, you can go in and automate anything.
I'm really tired today. Yeah. Be well rested tonight. Tomorrow will be a better day. See you then, darling. Thanks for joining me.